No one to blame, just you. And that's 100%. No one to blame, just you. And that's exactly why loners are different. See, society has trained people to believe that being alone means you're rejected, that if you don't constantly socialize, post, text back instantly, or chase attention, something must be wrong with you. But here's the truth no one talks about. The loner isn't isolated because they can't fit in. The loner chooses isolation because they can see through the noise. While everyone is competing for attention, the loner is building power. While everyone is reacting emotionally, the loner is observing strategically. While everyone is trying to be liked, the loner is learning how the world actually works. Loners develop something most people never will: internal gravity. They don't need constant reassurance. They don't panic when the room goes silent. They don't overshare to feel connected. Because their strength doesn't come from the crowd. It comes from clarity. When you spend time alone, your mind sharpens. You start noticing patterns in behavior. You begin to see how easily people are manipulated by emotion. You recognize how often decisions are driven by fear of exclusion. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. That's why many loners struggle in shallow environments. Small talk feels draining. Forced enthusiasm feels fake. Performative friendships feel exhausting. They don't hate people. They hate pretending. The mind of a loner operates differently. Instead of asking, "Do they like me?" they ask, "What are they really about?" Instead of chasing approval, they analyze intention. This is why loners often intimidate others without trying. Silence makes insecure people uncomfortable. Stillness makes chaotic minds nervous. Depth exposes superficiality. And here's something even more interesting. Loners are usually emotionally independent. They don't fall in love with attention. They don't collapse when ignored. They don't beg for responses, because they already know how to sit with themselves. That ability is rare. In a world addicted to stimulation, the person who can sit quietly and think becomes dangerous. Not dangerous in a violent way, dangerous in a strategic way. They see moves before they happen. They read energy shifts. They understand that most conflicts are ego battles disguised as principles. Loners learn the first rule of power early. Silence is leverage. When you speak less, people reveal more. When you react less, people expose themselves. When you chase less, people start chasing you. It's psychological law. The crowd operates on impulse. The loner operates on control. But here's the part no one glamorizes. Being a loner isn't easy. You face loneliness. You question yourself. You watch others bonding effortlessly while you stand apart. And sometimes it hurts. But that pain becomes discipline. It forces self-awareness. It forces emotional regulation. It forces you to confront your insecurities instead of masking them with noise. That's why many high achievers went through loner phases. Isolation builds identity. When you're constantly around people, your personality adapts. It shifts. It compromises. It mirrors. But in solitude, you discover what is truly yours: your beliefs, your standards, your boundaries. And boundaries are everything. Loners are often strict about access, not because they think they're superior, but because they value peace. They know that not everyone deserves their time. Not everyone deserves their energy. Not everyone deserves their vulnerability. That mindset alone separates them from 90% of people. The average person fears losing people. The loner fears losing self-respect. And self-respect is power. There's another psychological layer most don't understand. Loners tend to observe social hierarchies faster. They can tell who's dominant, who's insecure, who's pretending confidence, who's masking jealousy. Why? Because when you're not trying to perform, you can study the performance. You begin to understand unspoken rules: who talks the most, who interrupts, who seeks validation, who subtly competes. And once you see these patterns, you stop playing the game emotionally. You start playing it intelligently. This is why some loners eventually become extremely influential. Not loud, not flashy, but impactful. They speak rarely, but when they do, it matters. They move quietly, but when they act, it's calculated. However, there is a trap. Some loners mistake isolation for superiority. They build walls so high that no one can reach them. They become emotionally detached instead of emotionally strong. And that's not power. That's defense. True loner strength isn't about avoiding connection. It's about choosing it intentionally. It's about being able to walk alone, but not needing to. There's a massive difference. A weak person needs people to survive emotionally. A strong loner chooses people to enhance life, not complete it. And once you reach that level, something shifts. You stop chasing. You stop explaining yourself to everyone. You stop lowering standards just to belong. Because you realize belonging to yourself is enough. But this is only the surface, because there's a deeper rule loners learn that changes everything, and most people will never understand it. The deeper rule is this: control your mind, or the world will control it for you. Loners discover this early because they spend more time inside their own heads. At first, that can be chaotic. Overthinking, self-doubt, reliving conversations, imagining worst-case scenarios. But eventually, something powerful happens. They start mastering their internal dialogue. They learn to separate emotion from reaction. Instead of instantly responding to disrespect, they analyze it. Instead of reacting to rejection, they reinterpret it. Instead of fearing silence, they weaponize it. This is mental discipline, and mental discipline creates emotional independence. When someone ignores them, they don't spiral. When someone leaves, they don't collapse. When someone underestimates them, they don't argue. They remember. They observe. They adjust. That's why loners often appear mysterious, not because they're trying to be secretive, but because they don't broadcast everything they think or feel. They understand another rule: information is currency. The more you reveal unnecessarily, the less leverage you hold. Most people overshare to feel connected. Loners connect selectively. They don't trauma dump. They don't brag. They don't constantly seek sympathy. They process internally, and processing builds resilience. There's also a social paradox at play. The less you seek approval, the more interesting you become. The less you chase validation, the more people project value onto you. Why? Because scarcity increases perceived worth. When you're always available, always replying instantly, always agreeing, you become predictable. Predictability reduces impact. But when you move with intention, when you speak with precision, when you disappear to focus on your own growth, people feel the shift. This is why loners often attract curiosity, not because they're performing mystery, but because they're not desperate for attention. Desperation lowers status. Calm detachment raises it. But again, this isn't about manipulation. It's about self-control. A disciplined mind doesn't beg. A disciplined mind doesn't panic. A disciplined mind doesn't compete for shallow validation, it competes with its past self. Another thing loners learn is delayed gratification. When you're alone often, you get used to working without applause. You build without recognition. You improve without an audience. That rewires your reward system. Instead of craving immediate likes or reactions, you start craving progress. And progress compounds. While others burn energy trying to look successful, the loner quietly becomes successful. There's a psychological concept known as internal locus of control, the belief that your life outcomes are shaped primarily by your own actions. Loners develop this naturally. They don't blame the crowd for not understanding them. They don't blame the system for every setback. They analyze what they can control, and they focus there. That mindset is powerful globally, in America, in Europe, in Asia, anywhere, because regardless of culture, discipline wins long term. But let's be honest, not every loner is powerful. Some are isolated because they fear rejection. Some withdraw because they were hurt. Some build coldness instead of strength. The difference is intention. Are you alone because you're escaping? Or are you alone because you're building? Escaping drains you. Building transforms you. Strong loners use solitude like a training ground. They read, they think, they reflect, they plan. They understand that emotional reactions are expensive, so they reduce unnecessary ones. If someone tries to provoke them, they stay calm. If someone tries to compete, they improve silently. If someone tries to gossip, they stay uninvolved, because drama is distraction, and distraction is weakness. Here's another rule loners master. Energy is limited. Protect it. Not every argument deserves your voice. Not every opportunity deserves your yes. Not every person deserves access. Selective engagement is power. And once you operate like this consistently, something interesting happens. You become harder to manipulate. Flattery doesn't control you. Criticism doesn't destroy you. Rejection doesn't define you. Because your value isn't crowdsourced, it's self-built. And that's rare in today's world. Most people are externally programmed. They feel good when praised. They feel worthless when criticized. They feel powerful when envied. But the disciplined loner builds an internal standard. If they improve today, they win. If they keep their word, they win. If they stay composed under pressure, they win. Small wins, repeated daily. That creates unshakable confidence, not loud confidence, not arrogant confidence, calm confidence, the type that doesn't need to prove anything. And ironically, that's the type people trust most. So if you've ever felt different because you prefer solitude, if you've ever been misunderstood for being quiet, if you've ever chosen peace over popularity, understand this. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are training. But remember, balance matters. Isolation should build clarity, not bitterness. Silence should build strength, not fear. Independence should build standards, not ego. The strongest mind isn't the loudest one in the room. It's the one that can walk into chaos, observe everything, react strategically, and walk out unchanged. That's the power of a disciplined loner. And in a world addicted to noise, the quiet mind wins.